I've been working since I was 15, never asked anyone for a cent, and even paid for my own education. I bought my first home all on my own, and then my parents sued me for stealing my sister's future. Imagine pouring your entire life, every spare penny, every overtime shift, into building a dream. Your very first home. Now, imagine opening a certified letter and discovering that the people who gave you life are suing you for it. My parents, Edward and Marlene Lorne, were demanding I hand over my house and $300,000 in damages. It was a betrayal so profound, it shattered my entire world. Just 2 weeks before, I'd stood in this exact kitchen, my heart pounding with a kind of fierce pride I'd never known. I was signing the closing papers on my $412,000 home, the biggest, most significant purchase of my entire life. My real estate agent beamed as she pressed the keys into my hand. "You did this completely on your own, Arden," she'd said, her voice warm. "That's truly something to be proud of." That night, I celebrated in the quiet solitude of my empty house. Take out Chinese, a bottle of champagne I'd been saving since my big promotion last year. It was perfect. I walked through each room, mentally placing furniture, mapping out every space that was finally, irrevocably mine. Later, on a video call with my grandpa, I panned my phone around the living room, a huge grin plastered across my face. "Look at this, Grandpa. I did it." His eyes, usually so steady, welled up with tears of pride. "You sure did, sweetheart. You sure did." But the first tremor, a faint rumbling of something deeply wrong, hit immediately after I announced the purchase. My parents' faces on FaceTime were tight, uncomfortable. My sister, Sabrina, hovered in their living room behind them, her designer purse dangling conspicuously from her arm. "How many bedrooms?" Mom asked, her smile brittle, like glass about to crack. "3," I answered, "and a nice yard." Dad's jaw was working, a clear sign of his displeasure. "That's quite a purchase for someone your age." Sabrina leaned into the frame then, her perfectly styled hair falling just so. "Must be nice to have that kind of money to throw around." Mom's eyes darted to her, a warning I missed in the moment. "You know your sister's been having a rough time, Arden." I should have seen the red flags, but honestly, nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for the ambush a week later. "We need to discuss a family matter," Dad stated, his face filling my phone screen. It was his business tone, the one he used for difficult conversations with employees, the one that made your stomach clench. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. "We've always put family first, haven't we? Always supported each other." Dad continued, his voice devoid of warmth. "Your sister needs stability more than you do. She has plans for that house, creative plans. You can just keep renting." I stared at them, completely uncomprehending. My breath hitched in my throat. "This is my house. I worked for it. Sabrina can earn her own." That's when Mom snapped. "Don't be selfish, Arden. Family helps family." The certified letter arrived the very next day. As I tore open the envelope, the world stopped turning. Edward and Marlene Lorne versus Arden Lorne. My coffee mug slipped from numb fingers, shattering against the floor. Dark liquid seeped into the grout as my hands began to tremble, the legal papers wavering before my eyes. The demand jumped out in stark black text: immediate transfer of property and $300,000 in damages. My own parents were suing me. Reading through the documents, my throat closed up. Aunt Ramona's name appeared as the financial backer, which explained so much. An email from Sabrina was attached as evidence, claiming I had stolen her opportunity. The demands were laid out in clinical, brutal legal language. Transfer of the property deed to Sabrina Lorne, continued mortgage payments for 18 months, minus $300,000 for child-rearing costs, and a written apology for damaging family trust. My hands shook as I dialed my grandfather's number. He answered on the first ring. After I explained, his voice, usually so gentle, was hard with anger. "They've gone too far this time. I spent the next hour researching attorneys, my heart sinking lower with every retainer fee I saw. Starting at $10,000. Money I simply didn't have after the down payment and closing costs. The devastating reality settled over me like a heavy, suffocating blanket. I'd have to defend myself. That night, I sat alone in my new home, surrounded by boxes I hadn't had the energy to unpack. Tears threatened, but they didn't fall. Instead, something stronger began to take root inside me. A fierce, unyielding determination. They wanted my house? The one I spent 15 years saving for a while. They bankrolled Sabrina's endless string of failed ventures? The home I earned through countless overtime shifts and careful budgeting? Let them try. I stood up and walked to my bedroom window, looking out at the quiet street below. This was my home. My achievement. My line in the sand. They made their choice to attack what I'd built. Now I'd make mine to defend it. The next morning, I spread financial documents across my dining room table, the sun casting long shadows between stacks of bank statements and tax returns. My laptop screen glowed with an open spreadsheet, 15 years of my financial life reduced to columns and formulas. The numbers told a story my family didn't want told. I was 16, working for $5.25 an hour at Morningstar Coffee, tips split 3 ways. I can still smell the burnt espresso, feel the ache in my feet after 8-hour shifts. You're missing Sabrina's. Sweet 16, Mom had texted me one night, the DJ cost a fortune. I'd watched the party unfold on social media between customers, my sister in a custom pink dress, surrounded by floating lanterns. And a chocolate fountain. Cost? Roughly 3 months of my wages. My fingers traced down a column of community college receipts, night classes after work, textbooks. Bought used, careful budgeting of every single meal. Dad's voice echoed from that period. An accounting certificate? It's not even a real degree. The memory of my 18th birthday surfaced, not the celebration, but the argument that followed. What do you mean you won't fill out the FAFSA? I'd asked, clutching university application papers. You're an adult now, Dad had said, his voice cold. Time to stand on your own 2 feet. A week later, I'd found an apartment listing for $100 a month, roaches included. The start of real independence. My phone buzzed, Mom's number. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing the script. Sweetheart. Her message quavered, we've always given you both exactly what you needed. Why are you being so difficult about this? I pulled up my email, finding Dad's response to my emergency root canal 4 years ago. Figured out. Below it, bank statements showed $2,000 transferred to Sabrina that same week. 4, creative supplies. My sister's Instagram feed told its own story, semesters abroad in Paris and Rome, funded by our parents, art supplies that cost more than my monthly rent. Meanwhile, my student loan statements marched endlessly onward, $47,000 in debt, every payment made alone. Don't make this harder than it needs to be, Dad's latest email warned. I deleted it without responding. A new voicemail notification popped up. Aunt Ramona this time. You selfish girl, she spat. After everything this family's done for you. I researched her online, finding foreclosure records from 5 years ago, the same year she started living in Mom and Dad's guest house. The pieces clicked. She wasn't just backing their lawsuit, she was looking for her own backup plan. A quick social media search revealed Sabrina's latest crisis, an eviction notice from her creative studio apartment 3 weeks ago. The timing aligned perfectly with their lawsuit. The doorbell rang, startling me. Grandpa stood on my porch, carrying a weathered cardboard box. Thought you might need these, he said, setting it down. Inside were decades of family financial records, meticulously organized. They did the same thing to your cousin Thomas, he explained, settling into a kitchen chair. When his auto shop started turning a profit, they tried claiming he owed them for family investments. My phone lit up with a text from Thomas himself, 10 minutes later. Heard about the lawsuit. They tried taking my shop when it finally got out of the red. Don't let them win. An hour later, another knock at the door revealed my next-door neighbor holding a potted plant. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she said warmly, despite surely having heard all the family drama swirling around. My high school boss from Morningstar Coffee emailed, "Remember that Employee of the Year award? Happy to be a character reference." The unexpected support strengthened me for the next wave. In the days that followed, a certified letter threatened property liens. Sabrina posted tearful Facebook updates about her heartless sister. Calls came in from my parents' country club friends, all lamenting my lack of family duty. Aunt Ramona's silver Mercedes cruised past my house for the third time today, her phone raised to take pictures. An hour later, my supervisor called, asking about an anonymous concern regarding my character. I spent my lunch break filing a motion to dismiss, using every scrap of legal knowledge gleaned from late-night research. The court clerk raised her eyebrows at my pro-SE filing next week. "This is surprisingly thorough," she said, stamping the documents. The preliminary hearing was set for next month. I requested unpaid leave from work, ignoring my boss's worried frown about personal distractions affecting performance. That evening, I sat on my new porch swing, watching the sun paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. The scene triggered a memory. Teenage me, walking this same street, admiring these houses, promising myself I'd earn one someday. "You're dreaming too big," Mom had said when I'd mentioned it. Maybe I was, but I did it anyway. A young family walked past, children laughing as they chased fireflies. I thought about the locksmith coming tomorrow, the security system being installed next week. Not just protecting my house, but fortifying my boundaries. They say blood is thicker than water. But I was learning that some family ties are actually chains. Sometimes love means standing firm, even when it hurts. Sometimes independence comes at a price worth paying. I gathered my documents and headed inside, leaving the porch light on, not for family, but for the new connections I was building, one kindness at a time. Next week, the church bulletin lay crumpled on my kitchen counter. 3 more prayer requests from my parents' congregation, expressing concern for my wayward path and hardened heart toward family. I added them to the growing pile. My phone buzzed with another social media notification. Sabrina's latest Instagram story featured her tearfully holding our childhood photo album. "Family means supporting each other no matter what," she captioned it. "Broken heart. Family first." The timestamp showed 3 a.m., prime posting hours for maximum sympathy engagement. I pulled up my financial tracking spreadsheet, the one I'd maintained since that first dishwashing job at May's Diner. 15 years old, scrubbing plates until midnight while my classmates planned homecoming outfits. The memory of pruned fingers and aching feet felt fresh, along with May's gentle reminder, "You're building something, girl. Keep those records clean." Each cell told a story. $6.25 an hour, 30 hours weekly, minus bus fare. Community college tuition payments scheduled around 3 part-time jobs. The studio apartment with the leaking ceiling and the second-hand futon I'd proudly purchased for $40. "You really live like this?" Mom had asked during her only visit, eyes sweeping over my carefully arranged thrift store furniture. The spreadsheet continued, monthly savings. Transfers, starting at $200, growing to $300 as my certifications brought better opportunities. Years of careful planning, every extra penny funneled toward my dream of homeownership. A knock at the door interrupted my review. Through the security camera feed, a new installation. Courtesy of Grandpa, I spotted Mrs. Henderson from 2 doors down. "Thought you might need lunch," she said, holding up a paper bag. "And Gary's taking the 3 to 6 p.m. watch shift today." The neighbors had organized an informal surveillance rotation since Aunt Ramona's Mercedes became a regular fixture on our street. Their quiet support felt like a shield. One Tuesday afternoon, a breaking news notification flashed across my phone, Sabrina's interview with the local paper. "Sister disputes family legacy." The article featured her posed artistically in her former studio apartment, surrounded by half-finished canvases. My phone rang. Saw the article. Thomas said without preamble. Got those account records you asked about? The family investment they claimed I owed? Funny how the numbers match Aunt Ramona's foreclosure exactly. Then at Whole Foods, the automatic doors slid open and I froze. Sabrina stood by the organic produce, designer sunglasses perched on her head. Too late to retreat, she'd spotted me. Well, if it isn't the family trader, she announced, loud enough for nearby shoppers to turn. I focused on selecting tomatoes, keeping my voice steady. Hello, Sabrina. She hissed, stepping closer. You always thought you were better than us, didn't you? With your precious spreadsheets and your boring job. You know what that house could be? An amazing art cafe concept. People would love it. I met her eyes. And how would you handle the mortgage? Property taxes? She waved dismissively. Obviously, that part would still be your responsibility, since you're so good with money. Her lip curled. Unlike some of us who actually pursued our passions. Ma'am? The store manager appeared. Is everything all right? Sabrina's voice rose dramatically. My own sister? Abandoning her. Family? I left my cart, walking calmly toward the exit as Sabrina's performance echoed behind me. The manager caught my eye with a knowing look. We both knew what was really happening here. Back home, I spread out the documents Grandpa delivered. Parents' financial records showing Sabrina's $90,000 student loans paid in full. A $25,000 business loan for her failed pottery studio. Their mortgage-free property deed. And buried in old emails, the damning truth. Time to teach Arden a lesson about family obligation Aunt Ramona had written before she gets too independent. My hands shook as I compiled court exhibits. The room spun slightly, too many memories crowding in. I was 5 years old again, watching Mom remove my crayon drawing from the refrigerator. Sabrina needs space for her new watercolor. A gentle knock. Grandpa entered without waiting, carrying a weathered photo album. Found these in the attic, he said, settling into the chair beside me. Your grandmother kept everything. The photos told a different story. Me at every minimum wage job, proudly holding first paychecks. A display of perfect attendance certificates. My community college graduation, Grandma beaming beside me. She saw you, Grandpa said softly. She knew what you were building. Those textbooks you thought just showed up at the campus bookstore? That was her. Tears blurred my vision as I stood before the bathroom mirror, practicing my court statement. The voice that emerged sounded stronger than I felt. I am not responsible for supporting adult family members who refuse to support themselves. I straightened my blazer, purchased on sale last year. Recorded meticulously in my budget. The security cameras blinked steadily. Evidence binders stood ready, each document telling its own truth. Aunt Ramona's Mercedes cruised past again, but I didn't flinch. Some sacrifices strengthen us even as they break our hearts. Sometimes the hardest boundaries are the ones we need most. I touched the small photo of Grandma I'd carry tomorrow, her eyes twinkling with the pride she never spoke aloud. She understood the price of independence. Now, it was my turn to prove I was worth her investment. Tomorrow, I would tell my truth. Tonight, I fortified my walls, not with brick and mortar, but with 15 years of carefully documented sacrifice and the quiet strength of those who believe in earning their own way. The courthouse steps gleamed in the morning sun as I adjusted my grip on the leather document case. A graduation gift from Grandma, now carrying the weight of 15 years' receipts and records. Each step felt deliberate, grounding. The glass doors reflected my image. Navy blazer, pressed slacks. Minimal jewelry. Professional. Prepared. A far cry from my first courthouse visit at 16. Seeking work papers with trembling hands. Oh, perfect timing. Sabrina's voice rang across the marble lobby. My family formed a coordinated tableau, matching white, blood-first, t-shirts under sport coats and cardigans. Mom dabbed at carefully smudged mascara while Dad's attorney arranged papers with theatrical precision. Aunt Ramona caught my eye, lips curving into a familiar smirk. Last chance to avoid embarrassing the family, dear. I kept walking, heels clicking steadily against the marble. The security guard nodded. As I passed through the metal detector, my heart beat steady despite the weight of their stares. The courtroom felt smaller than expected. Wood panels absorbed sound, creating a bubble of focused silence. I arranged my exhibits with practiced efficiency, each tab color-coded and annotated. The methodology that earned eye rolls at family dinners now served as armor. All rise. Judge Martinez entered, her quick assessment taking in both sides. Her gaze lingered on the matching shirts before settling on the stack of motions. Interesting filing, she commented. Scanning the first page. Please proceed. Dad's attorney rose, straightening his tie. Your Honor, this case centers on familial obligation and traditional values. The Lorne family invested approximately $300,000 in raising their daughter, as documented by USDA statistics. Objection, I stated clearly. Irrelevant. Standard child care costs don't create legal debt. Sustained. Judge Martinez's pen tapped her notepad. Counsel, proceed with actual claims. Mom took the stand first, a tissue clutched dramatically. We sacrificed everything for our girls. Private lessons, summer camps. Her voice broke. How can she abandon us now that she's successful? I stayed focused on my notes as she described my selfish career choices, my rejection of family values. Each accusation landed softer than the last, buffered by years of documented truth. Dad testified next, his authoritative boardroom voice filling the space. In our family, successful children support their parents. It's understood. And when was this agreement made? Judge Martinez interrupted. It's traditional, he stumbled. Implied. Your Honor, I began my cross-examination. Did you provide similar support for Sabrina's education? Objection. Irrelevant. Their attorney stood. I'll allow it, Judge Martinez said. Answer the question. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Sabrina needed help pursuing her artistic gifts. Please review Exhibit C, I directed. Bank statements showing $90,000 in student loan payments for Sabrina's fine arts degree, plus $25,000 for her studio. Sabrina's testimony came next, tears flowing on cue. The house would be perfect for my healing art cafe concept. I'd let her keep a room, of course. And the mortgage? Judge Martinez asked. Property taxes? Well, Arden's good with money stuff, Sabrina waved dismissively. She'd handle that part. The judge's eyebrow rose. What's your current employment status? I'm between projects, Sabrina sniffed. My art requires emotional space. I stood for my testimony, spreading out 15 years of pay stubs, rent receipts, college transcripts. I began working at 15, Your Honor. Every job documented, every penny accounted for. Including parental support, the judge asked. None received. I presented bank statements. I paid my own way through community college while working 3 jobs. The down payment for my house came from 15 years of careful saving. She's twisting things. Aunt Ramona burst out. This ungrateful girl. Silence. Judge Martinez warned. She studied my documentation, then addressed my parents directly. Would you be making these demands if both daughters were struggling financially? The silence spoke volumes. I've heard enough. The judge closed her folder. This case lacks any legal merit whatsoever. Properties purchased independently remain independent. Case dismissed with prejudice. Aunt Ramona's outraged screech echoed off the marble as security escorted her out. Sabrina collapsed in the hallway, but the court personnel stepped carefully around her prone form, faces neutral. You'll regret choosing money over family, she called after me. I paused at the courthouse doors. Sunlight streaming through the glass. Behind me, Mom's voice rose. How could you do this to your family? But the weight pressing against my chest for months finally lifted. Through the window, I spotted Grandpa's truck idling at the curb, his steady presence a reminder that family, real family, Builds you up instead of tearing you down. You okay, kid? He asked as I climbed in. I watched my biological family huddled on the courthouse steps, their matching shirts a bright blur in the rearview mirror. I think I finally am, I replied. Your grandmother would be proud, he said. Softly. She always said you had the strength to build your own path. The familiar streets looked different somehow, clearer, like after a storm, each carefully earned. Mile bringing me closer to home. My home, protected now by truth and law and the quiet power of standing firm. In my pocket, the small photo of Grandma seemed to warm slightly. She'd understood. The price of independence, the courage required to choose yourself. Some sacrifices strengthen us, even as they break our hearts. Sometimes the hardest boundaries become our strongest foundations. 3 days since the courtroom victory, and the security system chimed softly as I entered my legally protected home. Already, the quiet felt different, not just peaceful, but fortified. My phone buzzed. Another notification from Sabrina's GoFundMe. My sister stole my future. Helpin'. Artist heal. The fabricated story beneath it made my stomach clench. After supporting me through art school, my sister betrayed our family's trust. Now I'm facing homelessness while she hoards wealth in an empty house. Please help me create my healing art cafe. I screenshot it for my attorney, then silenced notifications. The lies stung, but less than the calculated manipulation. She knew exactly how to play the victim. Did you see the email? Thomas's text appeared. My cousin, usually silent on family matters, had emerged as an unexpected ally. Uncle Edward and Aunt Marlene really outdid themselves. The mass email to our extended family had arrived this morning, detailing my cruel betrayal of family values and selfish materialism, each carefully crafted paragraph designed to isolate me from the wider family network. I saw it, I replied. Seems familiar? They did the same to me when my business took off, he wrote back. Called me ungrateful, demanded family investments. I wish I'd fought back like you did. That night, the security system chirped again. Motion detected. Through the app, I watched Aunt Ramona's Mercedes creep past my house for the 3rd time tonight. At midnight, the camera caught her approaching my front door, a spray paint can glinting in the porch light. You ungrateful little. The rest was lost as she realized she was being recorded. The paint can disappeared into her designer bag as she hurried away, but not before leaving a bright red streak across my new door. The responding officer arrived quickly. We've got clear footage, he said, reviewing the video. Would you like to press charges? I thought of family dinners, holiday gatherings, the complex web of loyalty and obligation. I need to file for a restraining order, I told him. Next week, the courthouse felt different. Where fear once lived, determination had taken root. The clerk processed my paperwork efficiently, eyebrows rising at the family names. Judge Martinez's courtroom again, she noted. She'll remember the context. The temporary order came through immediately, backed by the officer's testimony and security footage. Each signature felt like both victory and loss, protecting my future while severing my past. They tried this with others, Mrs. Chin, our old neighbor, told me over coffee. Her letter had arrived yesterday detailing 20 years of observed family dynamics. Your father demanded family support from his brother, too, before the cancer took him. Your aunt, she's always been jealous of. Your mother's marriage, you know. Uses money to control people. Grandpa filled in more gaps as we worked on his truck together. Your grandmother set aside college money for both you girls, he said. Quietly. Your parents redirected it. Called it investing in Sabrina's gift. His hand stayed steady on the wrench, but his voice carried old anger. That's why she left you the house money. Separately in her will. The permanent restraining order hearing arrived, too quickly, and yet not soon enough. The matching shirts were gone, replaced by subtle designer labels and practiced humility. Their new attorney spoke of reconciliation, portraying me as vindictive and unbalanced. Your Honor, I stood evidence. organized with familiar precision. I'll let the facts speak. Security footage played. Police. Reports detailed workplace disruptions, my family claiming medical emergencies to bypass security. The GoFundMe screenshots, the email campaign. Enough, Judge Martinez interrupted. Restraining. Order granted and expanded to include digital harassment. Any violation will result in immediate consequences. That evening, the local paper ran the story, family property lawsuit dismissed, restraining order granted. Sabrina's GoFundMe disappeared, reported for fraud. Messages trickled in from extended family, support, similar stories, quiet solidarity. Your cousin Rachel called, grandfather told me over dinner. Says she's proud of you. Others are starting to speak up about their experiences, too. I watched him season his potatoes with methodical care, the same attention to detail he taught me in his garage, rebuilding engines while sharing life wisdom. Does it get easier? I asked. Choosing yourself? He set down his fork. Sometimes family is what you build, not what you're born into. Your grandmother knew that. Why do you think she left you those tools in her will? Later, I completed my nightly security routine, doors locked, cameras active, systems armed. The red paint was gone from the door, but its ghost remained, a reminder of boundaries earned and enforced. In my journal, words flowed, asterisk, I protected what I earned, but I'm mourning what never was. The family I wanted existed only in my hopes. The family I have now, the ones who choose truth over comfort, growth over control, they're the foundation for something real. Asterisk, my phone lit up with another text from Thomas. Dinner next week? Rachel and her kids want to meet at that new place downtown. I smiled, typing back. Count me in. The security system chimed softly, all secure. Through the window, I watched the sunset paint my garden in gentle golds. Grandmother's roses, transplanted from her yard, bloomed stubbornly against the fence. Some things grow stronger when forced to root deeper, finding nourishment in unexpected soil. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight, in this house I earned and defended, I was anchored in truth. Some victories carry the weight of grief, but they clear the ground for new growth, new connections, new definitions of family. I turned off the lights, leaving one on for the porch, a habit learned from grandmother. Not all traditions need to be broken. Some, like her wisdom and strength, become the foundation for something better. It's been a year since the restraining order, and my weekends have finally found their rhythm. Morning sun streams through my kitchen windows, catching dust motes as I measure coffee grounds. 2 scoops per cup, the way grandfather taught me. Maple's tags jingle as she trots to the back door. My rescue mutt, half golden retriever, half probably everything else, according to the shelter, has her own routine now. She knows Mrs. Chin next door will be out gardening, ready with treats and gentle conversation. Just a minute, girl. I check the security app out of habit. The system's still active, but I've scaled back the notifications. No more midnight alerts, no more documenting every passing car. The cameras remain, silent sentinels rather than constant reminders. The workshop smell hits me as I enter the garage, sawdust and engine oil, mingled with fresh coffee. Grandfather's already here, setting up for our Sunday project. We're building a dining room table, big enough for the growing circle of people who actually want to be here. Morning, kiddo. He's arranging clamps with mathematical precision. Thought we'd finish the leg joints today. Perfect timing. I hand him his coffee, black, 2 sugars. Thomas and Rachel are bringing the kids over. Later, they can help sand. We work in comfortable silence, measuring twice, cutting once. Through the open garage door, I watch neighborhood children chase each other past my fence. Their parents used to hurry them along back when the lawsuit made headlines. Now they wave, letting their kids stop to pet Maple through the slats. Saw your father yesterday, grandfather says suddenly, testing a joint's fit. At Henderson's Hardware. My hands stay steady on the wood. How'd that go? Age 10 years, I'd say. Both of them have He adjusts his grip on the plane. Marlene was there too, kept looking at throw pillows like they held life's answers. I remember the designer pillows in their perfect house, arranged just so. The way Sabrina would rearrange them when stressed, while I tracked our family's spending in secret. Spreadsheets. Heard Sabrina's in Oregon now, I offer. Some artist collective. Running again. He shakes his head. Your aunt's not doing well either. Blood pressures through the roof, according to the gossips at church. The wood grain beneath my fingers tells a clearer story. Growth rings. Marking seasons of plenty and want, strength built through adversity. We shape it carefully, honoring its natural character while creating something new. Later, as the autumn sun warms the backyard, friends gather for what's become our tradition. The Sunday potluck. Thomas's kids chase Maple while Rachel sets up lawn games. My coworker Sarah, who stood by me through the worst of the lawsuit, arranges flowers from her garden. Hard to believe. It's been a year, she says, stepping back to admire her work. A year since I bought this house. The memories surface, empty rooms echoing with possibility, then threat. Now every space holds purpose. My home office with its promotion-worthy projects, the workshop where grandfather teaches me patience, the garden where Mrs. Chin shares her wisdom about more than just plants. Grandfather rises, tapping his glass for attention. To this home, he says simply, and the woman who built it. Not just with lumber and nails, but with courage and truth. The toast ripples through. My chosen family, neighbors, friends, the cousins who chose connection over convenience. Even Maple barks her approval, tail wagging as children sneak her bits of hot dog. That evening, after the dishes are done and leftovers distributed, I join grandfather on the porch. Swing. Maple sprawls at our feet, worn out from playing referee to the kids' soccer game. You didn't just protect your house, he says quietly. You defended your worth. Through the windows, I can see the dining room table we're building, still unfinished but already promising. Like everything worthwhile, it takes time and attention to detail. Some prices are worth paying for. Peace, I reply. The stars emerge as night settles, casting gentle light on my transformed home. Inside, Sarah and Rachel are setting up board games, their laughter drifting through screen doors. Thomas helps his youngest with homework at my kitchen counter. Mrs. Chen's lights glow next door, her silhouette visible as she waters her evening primrose. My phone buzzes, a text from the young analyst I'm mentoring at work. She's leaving her financially abusive marriage, needs advice on building credit. You showed me it's possible, she writes. I think of that terrified woman who first walked into Judge Martinez's courtroom, clutching papers in desperate certainty. She's still here, that core of steel strengthened by fire. But now she's surrounded by people who recognize its worth, who add their own strength to the alloy. The security system chimes softly, all secure. But the sound no longer triggers anxiety. Instead, it reminds me of boundaries earned and kept, of peace protected and shared. Maple's head lifts at approaching footsteps, just the neighbor's teenager, coming to ask if she can walk her tomorrow. Same time as usual, she calls. We're working on her leash manners. Perfect. I answer. Another small thread in the tapestry of normal life, woven from trust and consistency. Grandfather squeezes my shoulder as he heads in to claim his favorite armchair, the one we refinished together, now permanently placed in my living room. His tools live in my garage now, his wisdom in my daily choices. Inside, the game night is getting competitive. Outside, crickets tune up for their evening symphony. And here on my porch, in this space between what was and what is, I breathe in the peace I've built. Some say family is here born too, but I've learned it's who you choose to become and who chooses to witness that becoming with love and respect. Every laugh from my living room, every wave from a neighbor, every shared meal and project and quiet moment. These are the true measures of home. The stars will overhead, constant as truth, bright as possibility. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But tonight, in this house I earned and shared, and filled with genuine connection, I am exactly where I need to be. What defines family after all? Is it blood and obligation? Or is it the people who celebrate your growth while respecting your boundaries? In my experience, it's the latter that builds the strongest foundations.